quick, so you kind of get a good understanding of why I have a passion for doing this. It all started on a cold winter's day in 1970. Just kidding. You guys know how old I am now, but we won't go that far back. And I already told you I'm from Florida, so you know it wasn't all that cold, right? We never see weather like this. So. But I'll fast forward. Well, I will tell you, in 1970, I was born with macular retina dystrophy. I have a macular retina dystrophy of an unknown sort. It doesn't work like most cone rod disorders. My peripheral and my central vision are the same, and they've remained the same since birth to now. They tell me it could go bad in the next few years, and then again it may not. They really don't know. So keep your fingers crossed. But at least I'm working for the right place, right? Yeah. So I was blessed with parents who let me do a lot of different things. And so it was mostly my dad pushing my mom to let me go out and get a job when I was 15. And you know, I wrestled in high school. I was on the football team for 1 year, but I think they were worried that the vision impaired kid, I don't know if they thought I might run the wrong way or if I was going to get hurt or something, I don't know. But I quit after 1 year of not getting out to play. But I did wrestle in high school, did a lot of the same things my peers were doing. I was going to the general education schools after about second grade, so I didn't go to any of the blind schools, but I did go to a resource school with a resource room and a part of the day allotted so that I could go learn low vision skills, I guess. That ended after about second grade, so I'm not really sure what they taught me. I don't remember it too much. But I started working at about 15. I got my first job at McDonald's. Working at McDonald's, which I owe McDonald's. They not only gave me my first job, I also met my wife there working. We ended up not getting married at 15. We got married many, many years later after several jobs in between for both of us. But so I guess I owe McDonald's for those, and they paid me back by giving me this, I guess, right? But McDonald's started a long string of jobs in the food service industry. I've done everything in food service you can imagine. I've waited tables, I've washed dishes, I've cleaned the floors, cleaned the bathrooms, bus tables, I've managed the front of the house, managed the back of the house, I've cooked. I've done everything. I did have a lady at a presentation a little while ago, a few months ago, yell out, "Hey, I bet I know one thing you didn't do." So what's that? She said valet park. So she's right, I have not valet parked. People get upset when their Lexus comes back with a big scrape down the side, I guess, right? So I said, "Touche, you got me, I didn't do that." But it was a pretty good job for me for a good long time. And, you know, it just paid my bills. I did it through high school, through college, as a young adult. But I came to a point where I was thinking, this is a pretty good job. But I was at a point in my life where I was thinking, I really want a career. I'm looking for a career. But I've been doing the same thing for so long. Well, let me tell you what the definitions are first. My definition of a job, somewhere you go to 35, 40 hours a week, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. They pay you to do specific tasks. You take that money, you pay your bills, and you live your life. Would you guys agree with that? Does that sound like a job? Now, I was at a point in my life, though, where I was thinking, I'm really interested in a career. And I'll tell you my definition of a career. It's somewhere you go to 35, 40 hours a week, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. They pay you to do specific tasks. You use that money to pay your bills, live your life. Sound familiar? It's slightly different, though, because it's something that you love. Some people call it a calling. Some people call it just their passion. It's something you're passionate about. It's part of you. Do we have any teachers in the room today? Any of you guys teachers? At what point did you get into it for the money?
Never.
See? That's my point. You don't get into certain things for the money. It's not always monetary. It's part of you. It's what you're good at. You want to help people. You see this in the clergy, doctors, different types of professions. And the food service industry is a profession. It is a career for many people. A lot of people making good money. A lot of people living their life that they choose. And I love going to restaurants to keep those people up. We want to make sure they're out there. It just wasn't for me at the time. But I've been doing the same thing for so long that I felt trapped. Any of you guys ever been like that? You've been doing one thing for so long, you don't see that you can go out and do something else even though in your head you want to? I was at that point in my life. I had a buddy come over, and I just bought a computer. This was in the 90s, probably right around 1998. I bought my first PC, which was, you know, real small, slow. The internet was nice and slow. You could try to bring something up and go make a sandwich and come back and finish up. Some of you guys might remember. But it was a big, exciting thing for me. I have a computer. Well, I had a buddy come over and worked for this company called Henner Joyce. Any of you guys ever heard of Henner Joyce? Probably John, you probably have, right?
I have.
Henner Joyce created the product that Bill mentioned earlier, JAWS for Windows. They're one of the parent companies that formed, along with Blazy Engineering and Arkenstone, to create Freedom Scientific back in 2000. At this time, he was working for the Henner Joyce side of that company. And I was showing him my computer. Oh, you got to see my new computer. I had this little 12-inch monitor, probably, you know, little tiny thing, what I could afford. I had my nose up against it, typing away. He said, man, you keep your nose up against that monitor, you're going to get a radiation burn. So I've lived in Florida for 41 years now, have had many radiation burns from the sun, but not too many from a monitor.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got what he was saying, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're right there. So he says to me, he says, you know, we have this product called Magic. Magic's a screen magnification software program that we make. You know, magnify your screen between, you know, really from 1x up to 36 times whatever comes on your screen. You can also invert the colors and do different things there. So he said, well, I'm going to send you out a demo copy of this. Give it a shot. It's like, okay. So I got that piece of software in the mail, and it was amazing. It changed the way I lived my daily life that day. That day changed the way I was going to live the rest of my life. So I owe my friend pretty good kudos for that. I stuck that product in my computer. I was wowed. I said, wow, I don't have to sit right up against it. So I became more productive because I could sit in front of that computer for longer periods of time. So I started learning more about the computer, doing more with it. I also discovered, wow, I can invert the colors on this because I like a dark background with light writing like we have up here on this Onyx. I like to have it dark. You like that too?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Makes it easier to see.
Yeah.
And you know, it's my theory, and this is just a theory. I have no scientific proof of this. Whether it's Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or some pioneer of the PC and the personal computing industry in the 80s, really probably around the 90s they did this. But if you remember the old DOS system, or any of the old computer systems with even before DOS, they always had dark backgrounds with light writing. They were green usually, with light writing. Well, along the way, and I kind of think it was either Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, because it was a Windows-style based computer that started making it white with dark writing. Because if you remember like the old WordPerfect days, it always had a dark background. Even if you go back to your Commodore 64s, it was a blue background. I think they wanted us all to look at it like it was paper. That's hard on my eyes. That was the theory. Is I think they said, hey, everybody wants to type like they're typing on paper. Let's make it look like paper. Well, that's hard on my eyes, hard on a lot of other people's eyes. So I inverted the colors. And then I was like, wow, this is really cool. And that helped me be a little more independent. When that machine would go down, I would walk down to one of my neighbor's house, and I'd ask her to come over. She's real good with computers. I'd ask her to come over and help me out. If something's going on, I can't read the contrast on the error message. She would come down and help me. Now, even afterwards, I used to call her up to give me some help, though, every once in a while. I was a single guy living down there, so, you know, got to do what you got to do. But it made me more independent. I could do a lot of that stuff on my own. But what it did for me, what Magic did for me on that wonderful day back in 1998, was it empowered me to believe that I could do something different. That's how it really changed my life significantly. I started to think, you know, maybe I can get out of this food. I was managing a restaurant at the time. I said, maybe I can get out of this. I was making good money, but I was working a lot of hours, and I was just tired of doing it. So maybe I can do something different. So I started thinking. Well, a couple weeks later, I get another call from a gentleman in their sales department of Freedom Scientific. He's the sales manager, or from Henner Joyce, I should say. What do you guys think he wanted? Well, he wanted to give me a job. I thought he was calling to sell it to me, and because I said to him, I go, I love this product. It's really changed the way it's changed the way I do little things like write a list for the groceries, to typing a letter out, to starting to use email and the internet and things along those lines. I said it's really changed the way I'm doing things. It was even changing the way I was doing things at work, because I was trying to start to learn how to put things into, some kind of charts or spreadsheet programs and stuff. And I started to do a lot of that stuff. So it was really changing everything I was doing at a pretty rapid pace. And he said, well, I'm glad that it's changed how you're doing things. I'm really happy that you really like the program. He goes, but I'm not calling you to sell it to you. Because I told him I need a couple more. I need about another month. And he said, we have an opening. We have an opening in our sales department to sell JAWS, an inside sales job, or Magic, I'm sorry. So I said, I don't know anything about sales. He said, sure you do. You sell in your restaurant all the time. You're selling people to get a bottle of wine, or you're selling your employees to work harder. So I said, okay, I have nothing. He goes, you have nothing to lose. There's a restaurant on every street corner. I live in Pinellas County, Florida. It's right across the bay from Tampa, big tourist area. We have every kind of restaurant on demand on every street corner. There's something you can get. So I said, yeah, I don't really have anything to lose. I can get a job tomorrow. So I filled out my resume, sent it in. Make a long story short, I called Dan Clark, the sales manager at the time. I called him every day for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. And he said, Charlie, you can't call me every day. So I called him every other day. So they hired me. Persistence pays off. They hired me as the inside salesperson for Magic. About 6 months later, they hired this crazy guy for the outside sales Magic job named Bill Kilroy. So Bill and I have been tied together for a long time. So Bill and I